What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my Draftkings MMA picks for UFC Vegas 53. We have Rob Font going against Marlon Vera.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
We're back breaking down another DraftKings slate. This week, UFC Vegas 53. And yeah, last week was, a DFS player's worst nightmare. Not only did $9,500 Barry drop the ball and Mike Jackson got a DQ win, but shortly after, $9,600 Alexander Romanov falls off the card. Chase Sherman pulls out, during the event. Just a tragic disaster of a card last week from a DraftKings perspective. So it cannot get any worse than, and I'm looking forward to bouncing back this week. And we actually do have Romanov back on the card, so going to be talking about that matchup some more. Before we get started, if you guys can please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. If you do want some extra content, be sure to sign up at dfsbythenumbers.com. Articles, projections, optimizer, all the good stuff. I have you covered over there. So I say we get into it, and we will start, as always, with the fight doesn't go to decision line. So first one, minus 800. Fight doesn't go to decision, minus 800. We do not see that often at all. And we talked about it a little bit. Sherman did pull out, during the event there, and after lineup's already locked. So if he does pull out this time, I'm hoping it is before lock. But it's really hard to get away from Alexander Romanov. He's clearly the best play on the entire slate. And if they do fight, he's probably the best play of the entire year. I think he takes down Chase Sherman in the first round, finishes him shortly after. Not going to have much Sherman, if any at all. I'm going to have a ton of Romanov. I think it went like around 75% last time, so I didn't go all in last time, but still, it still hurt really bad. So I'm going to go heavy on Romanov. You got to. Absolutely have to. Because, yeah, if they fight, Romanov's going to smash him there. Minus 160 fight doesn't go decision. A green Lioness. And, yeah, there's a big drop-off from Romanov Sherman to the next one. And there's not a ton of fights that are going to be finishing inside the distance, you got to think, this week. But Green Lioness, I do think, is one of them that does finish inside the distance. You have Green, who is probably going to be better, pretty much everywhere. Green's fought the better competition. He's going to be the better grappler, probably the better wrestler. Green's probably the better striker, better cardio. But, Lioness, this dude throws technique out of the window and just throws bombs. This guy hits very, very hard. And, one thing I don't like about Green is going to be his strike and defense. He is very hittable, so that's going to give Lioness an opportunity to potentially get a knockout here. Lioness, 7,700. I actually do like him as a dog because if he does win, it's going to be by knockout, and it's probably going to be in the first round. So I like Lioness there, but I do like Green as well. Green's going to throw a ton of volume. I think he has wrestling upside, grappling upside. If he gets the fight down to the mat, submission upside. He has finished all but one of his wins as well, and I think cardio is going to play a big part in this fight for him as well. So I do like Green to win the fight, but I'm going to be playing both sides here. I think Green could either win a decision or get a late finish. I think he could score well, but with Lioness, I think if he does win, I think it is a first-round finish. I don't really see him winning if it does get out of the first round, honestly. We have Jocko Mearshart, minus 150. Fight doesn't get to decision. Jocko's just unplayable for me. This guy, he's not going to go for takedowns against Mearshart. He's not going to get control time. Maybe push Mearshart against the cage, potentially rack up some control time there, but he's not going to throw a ton of volume. He's probably not going to knock out Mearshart. If Jocko wins, it's probably going to be a very, very boring fight and a very boring decision that does not score well. So I just can't get to the 8,800 on Krzysztof Jocko. On the flip side, I can get to some Gerald Mearshart, who is 7,400. This is a guy with a 94% finish rate. If this fight hits the mat in any type of way, whether it's him getting the fight down to the mat, whether it's him pulling guard, whether it's Jocko, taking him down, or if, Mearshart falls down, if Jocko falls, I'm down to the mat. If this fight hits the mat in any type of way, Mearshart, I do think he's live against a bunch of people to find a submission, including Jocko here. So I like Mearshart. He's going to be the more dangerous fighter. Even on the feet, he's going to be at a striking disadvantage, but he's shown that he does have some power. So I do like Mearshart there, but I can't get the Jocko. And then Candelario, Tara making his debut, 9,200. Yeah, I believe this is I think it's the second fight of the night. I think, or the first. I think it's either the first or second fight of the card here. Yeah, I like Tara to win. Candelario, his takedown defense is not great. Seen him get taken down a bunch. Tara, if he does get it down to the mat, this guy's grappling's very good, but it's a sketchy fight. Tara, very young, 22 years old. His first fight in the United States, 9,200. I don't think he's going to be overly popular. Everybody's going to go up to Romanov, and rightfully so, and even I don't like this 9K range that much outside of Romanov, but I will have some Tara, and as far as Candelario as a punt, I don't hate it. Considering Tara is young, he's coming in here. First fight in the U.S., we've seen these young prospects bust before, and it would not shock me here, but I do like Tara for the most part. Core plays, Alexander Romanov, 9,600. Probably the play of the year. I think he takes down Sherman, finishes him shortly after. And on top of that, last week, I thought there was, a better 9K range. We have Tyson Pedro, who did really well. Richie Long, who did really well. This week's 9K range cannot say the same. I'm not in love with it. I'm going to have a ton of Romanov, and probably even more Romanov than I had last week as well. Grant Dawson's 8,700. Yeah, I like Dawson here quite a bit. Great wrestling. He's going to go for takedowns. He's relentless with it. He did gas out in his last fight, but looking at his prior fights, he does not really slow down that bad. So maybe it was a one-off, and I do think he's going to bounce back from that draw in his last fight against Glenn here. And Gordon, 50% takedown defense just seems like a recipe for disaster. A guy in Gordon who stuffs takedowns half the time against a guy like Dawson who has no problem going for 10, 15 takedown attempts in a fight if he really needs to. But, once Dawson gets on top, his control is phenomenal. Position over submission, I think Dawson has takedown upside, control time upside. I do like him to win this fight. And at 8,700, I will have a decent amount of Dawson. Dano De Silva, 8,200. Should be a little bit lower owned here, going against the bad Figgy. And what I like about De Silva, rather than Figgy is, De Silva's going to do stuff. He's going to go in there. He's going to fight for your money. He's going to throw hard kicks. He's going to look for submissions. He's going to look for the finish early. He's never seen a third round, and you can see why with the way he fights. Whereas Figgy, he doesn't have a great gas tank. Figgy does not have power like his brother. Figgy does not really throw anything. He's like landing 1.9 significant strikes per minute, and that's against Malcolm Gordon and Jerome Rivera. I think it's a pretty solid spot for De Silva. I don't think many are going to play this fight, and I think De Silva does have that finish upside. Figgy has been finished twice, so I like De Silva, 8,200. And then Gina Mazzani, 8,900. I can't believe I have Gina Mazzani in my core plays, and I think I said the same thing about Gina Mazzani when she fought Ostovich, and I was like, I can't believe I have her, but I think you got to here. Shanna Young, I don't think she's UFC caliber, and where Shanna Young struggles is where Gina Mazzani shines. Gina Mazzani averaging over 5 takedowns just about per 15 minutes with a 58% takedown accuracy. That's very impressive for Mazzani, considering it's not like a 1-2 fight sample. It's a 7-fight sample. Mazzani's landing nearly 5 takedowns per 15 minutes and getting them at a 58% clip. And, this is probably one of her easier matchups outside of like an Ostovich, like in the UFC against, Young, who does struggle with the takedown defense, with the ground game. Even the striking, like I'm not even sure what Young is good at outside of being tough, but I think it is a solid spot for Mazzani, and I don't think many are going to play her because it's Gina Mazzani, but I think she should roll here. GPP Plays here, tournament plays, Rob Font, 8,300. If Rob Font wins this fight, it's going to be by decision, and it's going to score a ton. Rob Font lands over 5 significant strikes per minute. Marlon Vera, definitely on the hittable side. If Rob Font is getting his way, he's going to be staying on the outside, picking apart Marlon Vera for 25 minutes. I personally do like the Vera side, but yeah, if Rob Font wins, he's going to score a ton. I think this main event is a must roster. I do not see this fight not ending up on the optimal lineup, so I think you got to have one side of the fight here. Tatsuro Tara, 9,200, talked about a little bit. He has takedown upside. He has grappling upside. This guy's grappling is very, very slick. Multiple submissions on his record. Candelario struggles with the takedown defense. Candelario slows down as the fight goes on. I think Tara can mix in takedowns, get control time, possible submission, maybe a late finish as, Candelario does slow down, whereas Tara has shown a good gas tank there. So I do like Tara, 9,200. Not sure how owned he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be overly popular, but I think he's a solid play there at 9.2K. Gabe Green, 8,500. We talked about it a little bit. I think he's a better fighter everywhere, in every single aspect of MMA. Experience, cardio, striking, wrestling, grappling, every single thing besides pure power, and that's what Lioness has. Lioness does not have the technique. He goes out there, he throws caution to the wind, and that is kind of scary, especially with Gabe Green, considering he has no striking defense, but I think if Gabe Green can survive that first round, he takes over and finishes Lioness late there. So I like Gabe Green, but I like this fight in general as well. And then Natan Levy, 9,000. Really struggled to find many plays in this category here, but I think Natan Levy could be interesting if he's getting his way. He's going to be taking down Breeden. I like Levy's takedowns, his wrestling, his grappling especially, very slick on the mat. I like his cardio as well. His striking's all right, but I do think he'll have a big advantage on the mat if he can get it there. So I do like Natan Levy. I think he has sneaky wrestling and grappling upside. Live dogs, Marlon Vera, 7,900. This guy's the definition of a live dog. You cannot count this guy out in any fight. He's going to walk forward. He's going to try to get you into a war, and he's going to have 5 rounds to find a finish here. Marlon Vera has never been to the 4th round, to the 5th round, but we know how Marlon Vera fights. He kind of takes off that first round, starts going in that second, and he really kicks it on in that third. So I'm really curious to see what he looks like in that 4th and 5th round. But he's going to be the more durable fighter. I think he can be have opportunities here. I think Rob Font's been hurt a couple times, been dropped twice. I think if this fight hits the mat, Marlon Vera is going to have an advantage down there as well. And at 7,900 in a 5-round fight, I think Marlon Vera is very, very live there. Jake Collier, 7,800, a very weird one here, but Collier, if he wins, it's going to be a very sloppy fight. But I do see this fight going to decision. And what I like about Collier, in terms of a heavyweight, he throws very, very good volume, landing over 100 significant strikes in 2 of his 4 heavyweight fights. Every single heavyweight fight that he has had that went the distance, he has landed over 100 significant strikes. So I do think he's going to outland Arlovsky. I don't know whether the judges are going to give him the win because he's going to look tired, and Arlovsky probably lands the harder shots, but I do know for a fact that Collier is going to throw a ton of volume, land a ton of volume, and should put up a pretty interesting score. And again, there's not a ton of live dogs this week, but Collier, if he wins, I think he has like sneaky upside. Weird as that sounds. And then Jared Mearshart, 7,400. This guy's dangerous. This guy's the definition of a live dog. You can never count him out of a fight. If the fight hits the mat any type of way, he's going to get that sub. Jocko, I'm just not sold on Jocko. I'm not going to have a ton of Jocko. Might as well get some Mearshart in there. If Mearshart does win, I think he scores very, very well. This guy's a finisher. He's dangerous. He's dangerous on the feet as well. He's shown some power. We hurt Muradov on the feet, and I think Muradov's a better fighter than Krzysztof Jocko. So I like Mearshart, 7,400. I'll be taking some shots. And then Jan Lioness, he got that puncher's chance, 7,700. First round, if he wins, first round knockout, you got to have some Johan Lioness, although I don't think he's the best fighter in the world, but he does have that power, and that power is important. Punt plays, just a couple punt plays here. Carlos Candelario, 7,000. Maybe just a fade on Tara, making his debut, young guy. It's probably going to be a big step up in competition, probably the toughest fighter that Tara has faced thus far. Candelario, I'm not in love with the guy, but maybe Tara does come in here, does not, perform like he had been, outside of the UFC, outside of the United States. So just willing to take some shots on Candelario in that aspect. And then Joe Anderson Brito, 6,900. I think people are really counting him out after his last fight against Bill Algeo. People were really hyped on this guy. Bill Algeo was a pretty bad matchup for him, considering Bill Algeo has a very, very good get-up game. I'm not so sure Feely's going to be able to get up as easy as, Bill Algeo did, but, Brito's going to have takedown upside here. He's very dangerous as well, and you got to worry about the gas tank would be the one thing. But I think, at least early on, it's going to be competitive. If his gas tank holds up, maybe he can get the win. So I don't actually hate Brito whatsoever at 6,900. I think it's a very sneaky pump play there. And then fades Andrei Arlovsky. I'm always going to fade Andrei Arlovsky nowadays. He's not going to go for takedowns. He's not going to get control time. He's not going to go for a finish. He's not going to knock you down. He has not had a finish since 2015. I don't see that changing here. He probably wins, and he probably wins by throwing and landing like 60, 70 significant strikes and putting up a horrendous score. So pretty easy fade for me. If anything, it's going to be the guy with volume and Collier for me, but just the fight in general, I'm not overly excited about. But yeah, guys, that is about it. Broke it all down here. Should be an interesting slate. Hoping Chase Sherman does not pull out during the fights. That'd be very ideal. But yeah, should be good. Going to be a good bounce back week here. And the next week we do have UFC 274 to look forward to. Again, if you guys can leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Check out dfsbythenumbers.com, articles, projections, targets, rankings, optimizer, all the good stuff on dfsbythenumbers.com. So that's about it, guys. Best of luck, and we'll talk to you very soon. See you guys.